Y'all like books? What a coinky dink! Me too! Alright, if you can't already tell by the title of this video, which I'm pretty sure you can, I know you guys are smart. This video is going to be about the books you can, not should, read for the falconry test. And these are all just books that were really helpful to me before I took my test. Not the only ones you should read, but ones you can read. So jumping right into the first book, it's going to be The Falconer's Apprentice by William C. Oakes. And this book is so helpful, especially if you're planning to get a redtail as your first bird, because it not only provides a bunch of information for the test, but it is also packed with like practical and like everyday useful tips and tricks that you can use while training a bird. It's got stuff like what you can do before you trap a passage bird, the things you might do in manning, tips and tricks for hunting, just a bunch of things like that. So this book is definitely super helpful, not only with the test, but also when you actually get a bird, and you know, all the things you need to do before training, during training, and then after training while you're hunting. And the next book, and one of my all-time favorite falconry books, is the California Hawking Club Apprentice Study Guide. But don't be fooled by the title, even though, as I believe this book was created for new falconers in California, but there is so much useful information in this book. Just things like falconry equipment and health of the bird, things like that, where it just kind of spans the overall general aspects of falconry. Is not really specific. There are a few more specific things in here, like hunting in California or laws and regulations that are specific, but overall it's an amazing book. And one of the other things is it isn't laid out like a normal book. It's laid out like a multiple answer test, so you can read through it. So like question 9 is, coccidiosis is transmitted by A, B, C, or D, and so then you can just pick an answer, or guess however you're doing it, and it'll say answer D, and then it will go into an explanation on just kind of that topic and why that's the answer. And that aspect of this book is super helpful, especially when you want to quiz yourself a little. All I did was I took a blank piece of paper or another book and just put it over the book at the top of the page, slid it down until I got just the questions and the answers I could pick. Then you just read the question, pick an answer, and then see if you were right. And so just super simple. That's pretty much how the entire book is laid out, and it is just super helpful. Gracie would recommend it too. Right? She does. She does. And the next books I would recommend are field guides. So one of the field guides I used was just Raptors of the Pacific Northwest, just the area I live in. So from what I remember, there can be a section in the falconry test of bird identification. I don't know if that's for all states, but I do know it's for some. And so having a general knowledge of how to identify a redtail, give you a little tip, it's the redtail, or like how to identify different sorts of falcons or eagles. It's just really kind of good general knowledge if you're looking for birds, and then it can also maybe be in the falconry test. So a field guide such as this one for where I live, but then also another really good, more specific book is Hawks in Flight by Pete Dunne David Sibley and Clay Sutton. This is more, I think it's a nationwide kind of bird guide. So they go through all the birds from falcons, hawks, eagles, owls, and they kind of like separate them into different categories in the book, and then give a little description of each bird, and then also just do like bird diagrams, little pictures, and then they also do photos of the bird or of the birds. And hey, pictures are always nice. I ain't complaining about pictures. I'm 17, I'm still reading picture books, baby. One of the other things I would highly suggest you read is your state's laws and regulations on falconry. And I'm fairly sure that for all states, there is some sort of section in the test relating to laws and regulations. So these are definitely important to pour over and just read through a couple times just to get yourself familiar with. And I know for Washington, they really weren't that hard. Like it's not in legal terms or anything, and it's pretty clear and straightforward on what the rules are. Another really helpful tip I would give is to highlight. I definitely did this with the laws and regulations and also with the California Hawking Club. I mean, just kind of an overall good study habit where, especially with these, I know I read my state's laws and regulations multiple times, and I read the California Hawking Club multiple times. So when you go through and you see something interesting the first time, you highlight that puppy, and then you go through and read it the second time, it's just gonna stand out more to you. Basic study stuff. Oh, and I'm pretty sure your state's laws and regulations should not be hard to find. At least they weren't for the couple states I looked up before this video. So you should just be able to go to your state's Fish and Wildlife website, and then they should have a category on falconry. I know Washington's falconry is under hunting, so it could be under hunting and trapping or something like that. But they should not be hard to find. You should be able to find them pretty easily, and just pretty much an overall great thing to read before the test for sure. And then the last thing is read whatever's interesting to you. Like any informational falconry book is only going to add to your knowledge of falconry. If there's any book you want to read or book you've heard is great, go ahead, go for it, for sure. So anything you can get your hands on that looks interesting, it really can't do you no harm. And yeah, with that, those are my personal pre-falconry test book suggestions. And again, these are just the books I studied and that I really liked and I got the most information out of that I think I could. And if I can, I will link all three of the kind of more specific books I pointed out, Falconer's Apprentice, Hawks in Flight, and the California Hawking Club, down in the description, because I am pretty sure you can get them all on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, if they haven't been taken off or they're no longer selling them or something. But I'll try to link all of those, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.